Lately, I've been really interested in the spontaneity of the landscape. What do I mean by that? I mean capturing the essence of the landscape, the emotion, not necessarily making it super representational, abstracting it more, but using materials that allow for spontaneity. So, high flow acrylics, watercolors, inks, things that you can splash around and then go back into later with marks, using things that aren't brushes per se. So, cards, catalyst blades and wedges, twigs, anything to make a mark. This gets me out of my head much more than if I'm using a brush. If you're new to my channel, I'm Pat from Scribner Art and Design on beautiful Vancouver Island, and there's lots of inspiration here. This month in my membership, we are taking a deep dive into spontaneous landscapes and loosening up, and also painting landscapes from a memory. If this interests you, I'll leave the link in the description below that you can come and check out the membership. And if it sounds right for you, I'd love to have you. It's a great value because you get a new workshop every month plus the community. So back to spontaneity. In the video today, it is a demo that I did for the membership. And I finished it off after it was a little wet and it needed a bit more. So I've included a picture of that at the end. If you watch till the end, you will see that. So I hope you enjoy my spontaneity in this exercise. These aren't meant to be finished masterpieces. They're just explorations, and they may lead to some discoveries, and that's the whole point. So let's take a look at the demonstration. What I have is a card. I have a catalyst wedge. I have another wallpaper scraper, and I have inks like I showed you. I have a toothbrush. I have a couple of watercolor brushes and a bamboo skewer. And I brought this brush that I had made before out of some reeds. I have that. And then I have some other mark making and pastel stuff. So what I'm going to do is these need to be shook off. If you are using fluid paint or heavy body, you can also put some airflow medium in. That's going to give you a good consistency. So just going to run. Okay. It seems like my nib on it is jammed up. Okay, so I'm going to try this ink instead. And I have a little pipette here. So these come in handy because the ink pipette never works well. So I want to establish the line. Of course, you can't see this. Let me see. I'm going to put it down and see if that'll help. There, you guys can kind of see it. So I want to establish this. I've got about the same orientation of the paper to the scene. So I had water in my pipette. I washed it out. That's not going to work so well. But it may be a happy accident. I'm going to use a credit card or a card and scrape this around. So this could be watercolor as well. I didn't even realize this, but we got a zigzag composition here. So get in some of these reed things here quickly. And I'm going to squirt a little bit of water, see what happens. So this is just very spontaneous, trying to get the essence of this landscape. And don't be afraid to blot some back. So I'm not on watercolor paper here. I'm on a mixed media paper. And just going to move some of this around with the paper towel. Kind of have sandy, rocky areas down here. And then this part and the upper part is blue. So this is really blue. It's probably pretty strong. Oops, I picked up some brown. I'm just going to turn this. Okay, so I got a little bit of brown in there. But these are, you can always go back on these and make corrections with your acrylics, something opaque after. So let's get some water in here. Take my mop brush. So that's a little bit on the intense side for what it really is, but not going to worry too much about the color as much as the feel. So I want to play up this foreground, which has a lot more strong lines and reeds in it. So I'm going to work on that next. And I think I'm going to actually put some black for that. So black ink. This is acrylic ink, but you could use India ink as well. And I've got it off on the side where you can't see it. So I'm going to dip my card in there and gather some up on the edge. I'm going to try that. So there's a pretty strong line here. So literally, I don't have much control at all with what's happening with this, but I'm getting some interesting stuff. I'm liking that, and I like kind of what happened at the top. And there is a little bit of kind of reddy, rusty color down at the bottom. Let's see if I have some, what color is this? Transparent brown iron oxide high flow. There's a little bit of rust color. I'm going to take my skewer. See if I can move some of this around, get a few finer lines happening. And there's some light colored ones as well. So I'm gonna put a little bit of gouache out here. That's not doing too much. So the other thing I want to do is take the toothbrush for all those birds. See if I can splatter them. This may be too wet. I'm getting wet on wet, but anyway, for the sake of the demo, these are my effects of birds. So closer to the front, there's going to be bigger birds. I can just pop a couple of those in. So these don't even look like birds. You know, there's no bird shape or anything. They're just like a clump of white. So get a little bit of variety in the sizes. And at the bottom, there's a little bit of gray with the rocks and stuff. And if I really wanted to do more, I could bring in another medium with this. So mark making or pastels. So let's see, got some pastel here. Maybe bring a little bit into the sky. I also have some iron bush, which is water soluble. So now I'm getting into mixing my mediums up here. And the pastel's not going to run, but the Caran d'Ache will run. So the pastel is going to act like a resist. And yeah, you know, pastels don't dry, but you can seal them with acrylics as well. So maybe just bring in a little bit more grays and blues in places. You guys are so quiet. Is anybody still there? You all dropped
Yeah,
off?
I'm here.
I'm just by myself.
No, it looks great.
I'm mesmerized.
Are
I
you?
know, right?
Pat, you said that Caran d'Ache or pastel, well, that's pastels, don't dry. So whenever you
Pastels
use them,
don't. Yeah,
pastels don't.
oil
Okay.
pastels don't dry.
Okay. So you always have to add acrylic over them.
Yeah, or some type of fixative, right? A lot of pastel artists put them underneath glass, but yeah, I wouldn't do that for a little sketch. But yeah, they don't dry. Whereas oil sticks will dry.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I've got a lot of white at the bottom here. So these are just meant to be kind of fast and spontaneous, not trying to get a finished piece. So they're kind of like a sketch, but we're adding a little bit more mediums and stuff to it. So I want to come back in. And just get a couple of strong branches here. So I'm just trying to strengthen this a little bit with a few more mark making efforts here. And the credit card works really good for this because you can get just such a thin line with it. So I think that's probably all I will do, she says, and she keeps working. Right. That's a little bit darker than I like. Beauty of pastels. You just go over it. I'm not a pastel artist, but I do like them for just adding stuff to something quickly. They're fast to work like a crayon. So that's a quick little demo, and I didn't mean to pick up brown on the sky there. And obviously you can take more time, but that gives you an idea of just being spontaneous and trying to capture what it's about. And after this is dry, I might go back in with more splatters of white to get that a little bit more defined. So it's because it is about the birds, really. And right now I got about the twigs, but I want more about the birds. I hope that you enjoyed that and got some value out of it, and that you will go and try some of these ideas yourself. It's a great way to get loose and unleash your creativity. And as I said earlier, if you're curious about learning more and want to take a deep dive, come on over and join in the membership and get the lessons. Thanks for watching, and keep on creating.